So what are the best Swiss core ball exercises you can do? And why even use a core ball in the first place? Hi, my name is Kamina Sue, and in this video I'm going to share with you some of my favourite core ball exercises that you can do, as well as the benefits of them. So using a Swiss ball is really great for core training because it helps us to really dial in muscular recruitment, balance and proprioception. And so the first thing you want to be thinking about before using a Swiss ball is just make sure it has enough air in it. Just speaking from experience, exercises are so much more difficult if you have an underinflated ball, so make sure that your ball is properly inflated. So the first exercise that we'll be doing is we'll target the TVA muscle of a transverse abdominis, which is one of the most important muscles in our core. It is primary stabilizer of the spine, and it's often very difficult to know if we're engaging or not because we can't actually see it. Okay, it actually lies underneath the visible muscles. And so adding an element of instability is a really great way to challenge the TVA because it really forces that muscle to fire in order to keep our spine stable. And so this first exercise here is a real doozy. It is the elbow plank. So you're going to take your Swiss ball and you're going to go ahead and place your elbows on the very top of the ball, making sure the elbows are relatively shoulder distance apart, and you're going to clasp your hands very, very strongly. So if you're new to this, you might just want to be here on your knees and just sort of get a feel for the best place for your elbows. So once you've gotten a good idea and you feel nice and steady, you're clasping those hands, I'd go ahead and take an inhalation here. I'm going to press my elbows into the ball. Exhaling, I'm going to go ahead and extend out through one leg. And then I'm going to go ahead and press my elbows really strong into the ball, and I'm going to go ahead and extend the other legs. I'm pushing out through the heels, I'm squeezing my quads, and I'm being here. So make sure that your belly is not pressing onto the ball. Now here, it's very, very tempting to go ahead and arch your back, right, to create the stability. What you want to do instead is actually take the arch out of your back and press your hips towards the ball and hold this here. Nice and steady for about 5 to 10 seconds if this is new, and then bring your knees down. So that is the elbow plank. Now, once you've gotten confident here and that you are really solid in your lumbar pelvic area, you can then go ahead and progress this exercise a little bit by adding a bit more movement to it. So this is going to transition from an elbow plank into an elbow Swiss ball roll. This is how you do these. You go ahead and come into the plank position in the same way as you did earlier. And then once you're here, you then go ahead and really squeeze your pelvis forward. So really coming into that posterior pelvic tilt, draw the shoulders away from the ears. And you're going to go ahead and gently move your elbows away from you. So you're moving the ball maybe maybe like an inch or so away, and then back in towards you. So keep the range of motion really slow and controlled, and breathing. So you really need to work hard to keep your lower back from arching here. And by doing that, you're really building a lot of solid core strength. So that is the elbow plank. So to up the ante on the elbow plank, you're going to do the plank with straight arms. So here, having the hands shoulder distance apart, and I like to come into it from a standing position. And then you're going to go ahead and place one foot back, get really steady here. Now making sure that you're getting connected with your shoulder blades here. Don't have your arms like this with your shoulders up around the ears, okay, because that's really going to feel very constricted around your neck and feel like you're not engaging your core. You're actually using your neck and shoulders to stabilize, which is actually what we don't want. We want to really target that TVA. So making sure that we have our hands on the ball, our neck's feeling nice and long, shoulders are away from the ears, getting in touch with their shoulder blades. Let's go ahead and bring the navel into the spine, placing weight on the hands, and then we're going to go ahead and step back with the leg, and then really working that posterior pelvic tilt, squeezing those quads, keeping the back of the neck long, and breathing here. So just staying here in the plank for 5 to 10 seconds, and then once again, if you do want to progress, but don't be in a hurry to do this, you can go ahead and do a Swiss ball roll in the plank position. So here, rolling the ball a little bit away from you, and then back towards you. Inhaling, rolling away. Exhaling, roll the ball back towards you. And repeating that about 5 to 8 times, making sure that the movement is nice, slow, and controlled. So this next exercise that we're going to be doing is one of the more challenging ones, but it's also so great for teaching us that proprioception that is so valuable, especially if you have a yoga practice and you're working on your headstands and handstands. And it can be really hard to know how to get your hips over your shoulders. And so this particular exercise will teach you how to do that and also teach you how to build back strength. Okay, so back strength, namely lat compression strength, which is not really talked about that much, but it's really the idea of using our lat muscles as pushing muscles instead of as pulling muscles like we often think about if we say do like a lat pull down or a pull up. And we do that by being very disciplined and not leaning too far forward in the shoulders when we're in the ball pike. So this is how I'd recommend that you start this exercise. You're going to go ahead and come onto the ball with your knee, and then bringing the hands shoulder distance apart. Now, you want to make sure that your hands are working properly by really spreading those fingers and cambering the fingers. What I mean by that is that you're pressing the finger pad side of your fingers into the floor. And by doing that, you can really engage the muscles in your arms, getting your forearms firing, which is very, very important to build strong wrists. And then also using your other muscles as well to be able to engage your back. So it's very, very important to think about that everything starts from your fingertips, your finger pads pressing into the floor, traveling all the way up the arm, and then imagining that your arms are really long, or they actually start about here. You can see my finger here. So if you can imagine that, it's actually much easier to connect your arms with your back. Let's go ahead and press the floor away with our cambered fingers. We're going to come onto the ball, and then we're going to go ahead and walk the ball down our legs. And then we're going to come onto the very tops of the feet. So once we're here, we're working the posterior pelvic tilt like we've been doing in the previous exercises. We're going to take an inhalation here. Exhaling, we're then going to go ahead and bring our hips up over the shoulders, keeping the top of the foot onto the ball. Don't stand on the ball, but rather you are digging the very tops of the feet into the ball and bringing the hips over your shoulders while maintaining discipline of not letting those shoulders move too far forward. And being here for about 10 to 20 seconds if you're new to these. Keep squeezing your quads and long, slow, deep breathing. And then gently coming out. So that is the ball pike hold. Now, if you've not done one of those before, it can be quite difficult. So you can actually regress that pose and get some lat compression strength benefits by coming into a slightly different version of the pose and coming into a crane prep hold. So here you're going to go ahead and place your hands in the same way as you did before on the floor. Inhaling, pushing away with your arms. Exhaling, go ahead and bring both knees onto the top of the ball. Now, if you're not really feeling your lats firing, and it can be difficult to know if they are actually firing if you are not familiar with these large muscles, then what you can do is that you can take an inhalation, pushing the floor away, exhaling, micro-bending your elbows out to the side, and you should hopefully feel your side body contracting. That's your lats primarily firing. Relaxing the head and hold this for about 5 to 8 seconds, then take an inhalation, press away with the arms, exhaling, repeating. So you just want to memorize what that feels like, okay? We want to build that mind-muscle connection to the lats. And once you've done about, say, 3 to 5 sets of this particular exercise, you then want to go ahead and build that lat compression awareness with straight arms. So you're going to take an inhalation here, push the floor away, exhaling. Hopefully you're feeling your lats firing here as you then bring your knees in towards your arms. And really upping the ante here on the amount the back has to work to keep everything stable. So making sure we're not leaning too far forward on the shoulders, but we're just really feeling the back working. And being here for about 20 to 30 seconds in this crane prep hold. And you can just release by gently moving the knees away from you, just letting the arms relax, hanging the head, relaxing the face and jaw, and then go ahead and move into another set. So I find the ball pike hold and the crane prep hold to be so invaluable for working those muscles of our core that people don't normally think about, and that's namely the muscles in our back body, and actually applying that in a way that actually demands proprioception, so the ability to get your hips over your shoulders. Okay guys, so the last exercise we're going to be showing you in this video to challenge the core using a Swiss ball is a variation of an exercise that I first came across from Tony Gentlecore, who has an awesome blog that I love. And this is a Copenhagen side plank using a Swiss ball. So Tony doesn't actually use a Swiss ball, he actually uses a chair. But this is one that I think could also be included with a Swiss ball as well, providing you actually approach it methodically and that your side plank already is very, very solid. Okay, so if you're a beginner to all this kind of stuff, you probably want to do a side plank without the Swiss ball, where you're just basically here and that you are coming onto your side like so, and then lifting yourself up, okay, making sure that the elbow is in line with the arch of the feet, and making sure that you are using your lateral core, your side core, and not using your back, because a lot of people can get the alignment wrong with their hips and their shoulders. So after you've gotten your side plank sorted out, you feel really nice and solid in there, it's now time to move into the Copenhagen side plank on the Swiss ball. So here you want to go ahead and take an inhalation here, exhaling, bringing that top leg onto the ball and making sure that your arm is super secure here. Elbows underneath the shoulder, I'm making a fist with that bottom hand, and I'm squeezing hard. So I'm actually driving the elbow into the floor, making sure that top shoulder head is not moving in too much. Now, once you actually feel nice and secure here, you're pressing your top leg into the ball, you're going to take an inhalation here. Exhaling, I'm now going to go ahead and squeeze the Swiss ball in between both legs. So I've got my top leg squeezing the top of the ball, and my other leg is kind of wrapped around the bottom, and I'm controlling the movement of the ball by really bracing my core. So that's actually where the benefits are here. And you also will be strengthening the adductors, so this is also really great for strengthening the knees as well. So those are some of my favorite core exercises you can do using a Swiss ball. If you enjoyed this video and got some value from it, please follow or subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.